Alrighty, welcome to Coding with Jess, where you code along with me while I work on a thing. So today we're going to be working on porting my personal website to GatsbyJS. I've already spent a couple of hours working on this, and so I've made some pretty good progress on it already. And we'll just see how that goes. We're going to do some work on that today. So let me switch over to kind of talk about where we're at. Before we do that, let's go ahead and start a timer, 25-minute timer. Like we always do on Coding with Jess, we're going to work in 25-minute blocks with a 5-minute break. This session will probably run for about 2 hours total. And we will, spend some time playing around with Gatsby and seeing what that's like for our personal blog. All right, so let me show you kind of a little bit of where we are today. So my current website is running as a Ruby app with a thin little Sinatra app around it. And it's running based in Heroku on their free tier of dynos. I've been running this for probably, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years. We could go look at the GitHub history, the GitHub repo for history. Let's see, Jess Martin, jessmartin.in. So this is the repo for my old blog. And I would, if we go to commits, you can probably see just how old this is. Looks like I've been running this same setup since 2010. So yes, 10 years. August 3rd, 2010 is when I first put this up. I wonder if any of these say like going live. Yeah, so sometime in August of 2010, shipped this live, and now it's been live for about 10 years. So it seems like a reasonable time to change your blog. But the real reason for me is I have been working more in JavaScript and JAMStack style frameworks and deployments lately, and I wanted my blog to reflect kind of my everyday work that I've been doing, and give me an opportunity to kind of try out new things and learn new things. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Let's see. All right, so here's where we are so far. Today I have, let me go ahead and pull up a terminal and cd into that repo. We've actually made some pretty significant progress already. It only took a few, develop is the full command. It only took a very short amount of time to kind of port my website to Gatsby. I mean, one advantage is that my website is not super complicated. There's only, as you notice, there's only one page here. I do have a hire me page that I'm actually going to take down since I've been working for about 13 months for Lambda School, which you might be able to tell from the hat, that I don't actually need a hire me page there anymore that kind of talks about my company, or that you can get me as a independent contractor. So let's go look and see. And as you can see, the difference between these two is pretty negligible. So I went ahead and took the opportunity to make this layout a little bit wider than it was. So you can see on localhost 8000, this is my Gatsby version of the same thing. And so yeah, we're most of the way there to getting ported. So this is my to-do list. I tend to, before I start up a full project management system, I tend to throw like a to-do.md file into a docs folder in a repo if I'm working on that. So currently I just finished getting things working and then getting staging and production working in Netlify. So let's go check that out. You can actually see, this has been my first time using Netlify and I've been really impressed. Super, super impressive piece of software. I've been using Heroku for probably 10, 12 years as well. I've been using Heroku since it was Heroku Garden. If anybody remembers Heroku Garden, long, long ago, before they even switched to being just a deployment solution. So, but yeah, Netlify, I've been using, I just started using Netlify for the blog and I really, really like it. So let's see. I wonder if it's a day ago. So this would be it. Probably need to rename this app to, let's see, site name, .in. Save. There we go. That makes it a little clearer what it is. And yeah, this is pretty nice to be able to, so you can actually go to jessmart.in.netlifyapp.com and there's my site deployed. So, and at some point, probably sometime today, I'll move things over from JustMart.in to JustMart.in from Heroku to Netlify. So let's actually write that down as a to-do. Move point DNS for JustMart.in to Netlify. We'll do that later. And then add a hiring. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Today's stuff that we're going to do is we are going to add a new Favicon, fix up the readme.md, add hiring. Oh, the hiring page. Yeah. Which I was just saying, I don't think I need that anymore. And so, but it was like add a second page. So I don't know. Yeah, again, like I'm not available for hire anymore, so it doesn't really make sense to have this up. Yeah, I'll just leave it the way I have it on my local website right now, which is it's crossed out. Let me just say remove the link for hire me. Let me see, was there anything else we might want to add? Point DNS, the right place, do a fun logo. Let's see. I think the other thing would be getting an articles section and moving my articles locally from Medium. Yeah, we might be able to get to that today as well. So right now, all my writings are hosted on Medium. I'd like to move those to my blog or to here as well, and instead of having them be hosted there, let's see. My talks are all, I think, Speaker Deck links. And then some of them are GitHub links. So yeah, we may move some of those here as well. But okay, let's kind of get started. So let's start with, we already have a, everything's pretty much running. Let's do the remove the link for hire me first. That won't take long. All right, so I guess a real quick walkthrough of the repo if you're following along here. This is my first time using Gatsby, so I have like 3 to 4 hours of experience with it. It's not extensive by any means, but here's what I'm seeing as I'm using Gatsby. Everything's in a source directory. Within that source directory, you have components, images, and pages. Within the components section, you have different snippets of JavaScript that you can use throughout your site. So things like your header, there was a footer in here originally. A layout file, which allows you to basically wrap the entire site in a consistent layout. So I have the footer, for example, here for the layout. An SEO file, which I actually don't know much about yet, so I'll probably have to dig into that. Oh, that was one of the things I wanted to add to my to-do while I'm thinking about it, which is set up Google Analytics / to point to the new blog. Or let me just say migrate Google Analytics, because I do have Google Analytics set up on my old site. And then probably the second thing should be investigate. And we may rearrange the order of these things. I'm not exactly sure. Investigate the differences, or investigate the SEO.js file. And see what we might learn, or see how we can optimize for SEO. Okay, and then, oh yeah, another one was post a sign up form for newsletter. We're quickly, this this to-do doc is quickly getting unwieldy, and we're probably going to want to migrate this to like a Trello board or something along those lines soon. But for today, we'll just work in this doc. It'll make things nice and lightweight and easy to work in. Okay, so that's my components. Then you have an images file where you can store static images. So I'm going to want to like clear out the things that are not, that don't need to be there. There's the headshot that I'm using currently right there. And then you also have a pages section, which gives you things like your 404 page, your index, which is like the home page, and then additional pages and looks like this one's actually a TypeScript file, which I don't know if I'll end up using or not. And then you have some other config files here that are pretty vanilla. I haven't done a whole lot to change any of these up. So that gets rendered into a public folder when Gatsby develop is run, but that public folder is not checked in. So for example, if you come to Gatsby or my actual repo on GitHub, you'll see that there's just a docs folder and a source folder. The Readme is a really nice Readme, but this is definitely the default Readme, so we'll want to adapt that today and make sure that we're, that it's in a better place so that it actually reflects the my actual website and not just the generic Gatsby starter. Okay, so back to where we were. We were just doing something simple, which is removing the link for Hire Me. So let's go do that real quick so that it just looks like a crossed out section. Actually, let's just remove it entirely. Let's see, so that would be index.js, and then I'm looking for, let me hide that sidebar. I'm looking for Hire Me, which is right here. I think I'm just going to delete that. Good old Prettier wraps it for me automatically. Okay. Let's see. That should start me in the same directory. Looks like I have some changes to the, I'm not going to check in the changes to the docs file yet. Remove Hire Me link. Okay. That's a nice quick change. Okay, the other thing we need is a new favicon. So I've already made some progress on this, working on the side as well. You'll notice that the old favicon that I had with this, with jessmart.in, it has this like really simple, it's pretty simple little thing. But I wanted to upgrade that and make that a little bit better. So I actually spent a little time in Figma, which is one of my new favorite products. I've been using Sketch for years and Photoshop for years and years before that, and so Figma's been pretty awesome. So I spent some time doing this the other day and designed this little logo that I thought was pretty fun. And so I'm probably going to put this logo up here at the top of the website, which will be really cool to have. But I also want to replace the favicon. So what I'm going to do is I'd like to make it a transparent PNG. So let's see. I'm not exactly sure how to do this. It's been a while since I worked with favicons, and I certainly haven't done it in, pretty sure it's in the head, right? It might automatically be handled by the layout though. Let's see. Site title is here. Isn't it like an image that's stored? I think you can like specify it, but it's also can be an image that's just stored at the root of the domain, and it gets picked up automatically or something along those lines. Let me just go Google for Gatsby favicon. Let's see. How to add a favicon. Some browsers have the ability to display a 32 by 32 ICO file. Okay. There's a lot of information here. I'm just scanning through here and I'm not seeing import favicon. Let me see if that's actually in this repo anywhere already. Nope, it's not. So how is the favicon? There's one in the images directory, or you notice that my localhost here has a favicon and the deployed version has a favicon. So I wonder how that's working. Let's go to the inspector real quick and see if we can look at the elements that were downloaded as part of, or sorry, the, what is it, resources? Sources? Here we go, sources. That were downloaded as part of the website and see where that image came in. There's the headshot. Doop. None of these are, that's weird. None of these are actually the favicon image of that little Gatsby G. I wonder if that is, huh. I don't know. That's very interesting. So not seeing. There's these different static. Oh, this is like minified or something. Let's go over to our local host and see if there's anything here. Preprint. There we go. Rel icon, favicon 32 by 32.png. So somehow that is getting generated. Let's see. Yeah, there we are. I wonder if that's in the Gatsby config files, although I'm surprised that it didn't show up in my search. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Cool. This article is pretty worthless. It could have just said icon, do the thing. Yeah, that's weird. Scroll down to. So do you need to do the import? I'm going to assume this is way overdone, and let's export a 32 by 32 version of this. So I'm going to go. I like the color. I like the black and white. I worked with that one first to get the to get things in place, and then I'm going to we're going to make a transparent PNG. So I'm going to jump this down. Jose, hey man, how's it going? He says, are you on a standing desk? I am on a standing desk. Jose asks, do you know Next.js? And if you do, why'd you pick GatsbyJS over it? Wondering what to use for my personal site too. Okay, so I don't know Next.js. I've been working with React and specifically React Native for several years, and so I wanted to start using something for my personal site. And I did a real quick cursory look at Gatsby versus Next, and it seems like Gatsby has more like conveniences and amenities for people who have been doing personal sites because it's been around for a while. I know Next is a little bit newer and trendier, so that was definitely a temptation. But I'm gonna stick with Gatsby for a little bit. I figure porting between the two, given that my site is so small, porting between the two should be pretty straightforward if I end up deciding to port to Next.js. So that's my uninformed answer. I'd say like there's a guy named Jason Lingstroth, Jose, that actually knows. That writes a lot about Gatsby and stuff like that. So he might have a better answer. He's also a live streamer, so you might actually jump in and see if he has some ideas. Thanks for the logo compliment. Yeah, this was fun. Like I actually sketched it out on my whiteboard the other day, and I think it came out nicely. I am not an artist, but I appreciate good artwork. So. And I especially love tools like Figma and stuff like that. So let's turn this sucker into a transparent PNG and see how this goes. I'm fairly new to Figma. Like I mentioned, I've been using Sketch for quite a few years. Let me see if I can make this interface larger. I can't. Okay, that's fine. So I think if I change this to be transparent, we should be able to. Let me see. There we go. I think that'll give us what we want. And then I want to bring this frame in relative to the size. So we probably want to give it a little bit, since I'm making a favicon, I'll probably, whoa, that's weird. That's the rectangle. Oh, okay, cool. I can delete that. I don't need a rectangle. And then frame 3. There we go. Cool. All right. That's odd. So I do want to make it square. Interesting. So you can really only resize from the outside edge. I bet there's a something. There we go. Hold down Command. So what I'm doing right there is holding down Command, Option, and Shift, which keeps it square. It keeps it moving in from all sides, and it centers the content. So I'm going to drag it to about there, and then we'll move everything inside there over. Let me see, frame 3. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, Figma is amazing, Jose. I've made some pretty cool logos too and have zero previous experience. Exactly. Figma can make us all into artists. Well, maybe not, but it actually enables, what I'm most impressed by Figma too is the collaboration workflows. With other designers. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm leaving a little bit of a buffer on the edges. Let's go ahead and export it as a transparent PNG and see how that looks as a as a favicon because it's going to look way different when it's compressed down to like that size right there. So we need to see it in the setting that it's actually going to be in before we really know how it's going to look. All right, so now documents, code, Jess Martin Gatsby. We want to be in the source directory and in the images directory. This is going to be our, I'll just call it JM logo. And I'll call it Favicon since I'll probably have another logo in there that's fuller, like a full-size logo. Cool. I think that's going to be transparent by default because the frame doesn't have any rectangles, but we'll see. All right, so now over to Oh, cool. You said with a new square, use the mouse to select a new square with the white space you want between borders and letters. Select all and Control G. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'll have to try that next time, Jose. Or actually, in just a second, I might try that out. Let's see if we can now pull this in. So we want this to be jm-logo-fav icon. And then save. And I think that would require a hard refresh. Oh, we're on the wrong one. Where's my local host? Here we are. Cool. I think that's going to require a hard refresh to get... Ooh, I wonder if changes to the Gatsby config actually require a restart of Gatsby. That would be my guess. We'll try it. They have nice live reloading, but your config, I would imagine, is more fundamental. And so it probably requires a actual reboot to get things up and running. Yep, I was right. Okay, cool. So we are... That JM looks really cool, but it is not transparent. Let's see. Pick the option transparent in the white background of the image. Okay, cool. Let me try that, Jose. Yes, there we go. So solid. I think I want to come to... There we go. Nice. Okay. That JM is going to look nice, but still... I think I need to... Okay, let me try what you were saying about selecting everything and then pressing Command or Control G. Wait, yeah, Control G. Boop, boop. Oh, Command G groups it, but... Oh, where it says pass through? Let me see. Oh, yeah, there you go. Layer, pass through. You can make that into... Oh, okay, got it. Okay, whoop. Didn't mean to do that. Can make that 0%. Okay. Oh, but that's not what we'd want to do. Anyway, it appeared to have worked. I do like the grid. That's really nice. Select everything I want with the mouse. Got it. All right, I'm going to select them all over here. Click Control G. Can right click. So Control G doesn't. Yeah, Control G just turns off and on the layout grid. Not sure. Jose, maybe you can give me the name of the command I'm looking for. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Distribute vertical spacing. Select the image, done. Select the frame or all of it. Got it. Select both letters. There are actually like 4 things, right? There's 2 letters in front, and then there's the shapes in the back that have a slight difference inside. So I've got the letters selected, as you can see from over here on the left. That will also select all the icons on the left vertical bar. Yes, it will. Yep, they're all selected. Yep. So they're all selected, and then what's the next command? What is frame 2? Frame 2 is this. So frame 2 is up here, frame 3 is over here, or frame 1 is over here. So I just have different copies of the same thing in here. And what I was trying to do is get these to fill frame 3 perfectly, like completely. And they are pretty close, and I could probably just drag it in like I was doing before. Right, drag it in a little further. Boom. And that'll get me most of the way there. I think I'm going to try that and see. It seems to be clipping a little bit here. That's weird. All right. There we go. Oh, it's snapping. Got it. It's snapping to the outside edge of that M. Okay, cool. Well, there's our first Pomodoro break. So we've been working on this for about 25 minutes. When I get back, we'll keep working on the Favicon. I'll be back in just 5 minutes here, and then we will get back to work. So let me start a break, and I will see y'all in 5 minutes. Okay, break is ending here, and we are back to working on the Jess Martin personal site. So here we go. We'll start the next 25-minute timer. All right, so the goal right now, we were in the middle of, let me kind of catch you up on where we were. We're in the middle of working through this short to-do list on rebuilding JessMart.in as a Gatsby app from 10 years as a Ruby and Sinatra app. So right now we're working on putting in place a new favicon, and we've got that working now. We're just kind of tweaking the designs. This is the logo I worked on a week or so ago, and trying to get that in as a transparent PNG. So let's go ahead and re-export this guy. And I believe I should be able to just click right that to get the name, replace, and then refresh. Hopefully like a hard refresh will probably do. Oh, you know what? I bet it gets generated too as part of the Gatsby generate. So we were noticing that the favicon is specified in the Gatsby config file right here under icon. But I believe that Gatsby is actually taking that file and generating a favicon for you, and so we'll probably have to reboot at every time we make changes to that favicon. Let me go to the Gatsby JessMart.in. Oops, wrong one. I'm curious what size that export from Sketch, or sorry, from Figma is. It looks like it is 72 by 72. I'm not exactly sure why. Okay, there we go. We have the JM on a dark screen. It's kind of odd looking. I'm not sure that I totally love that JM. Something to think about. This is actually one of the making things that look really good tiny. It's actually a really challenging thing. We might want to actually work on it at a tiny scale as well to make it look better. But for now, I think one thing we could probably do, which would massively improve it. Let's try one more thing, and then we'll kind of move on to the next item on the list, because I don't want to spend all my time obsessing over the details there. Let's go ahead and try a white here. And I think that might make it pop a little bit more, because it's all about the pop. Here we go. All right, so let me export one more time. JM logo, favicon, replace, reboot, Gatsby. And then as soon as that starts up, we'll see if that looks any better, and then we can check it in. Again, we may use this in the actual, at the header for the website as well. Building development bundle. And good to go. So let me refresh, hard refresh there. Honestly, cannot tell any difference there. Oh well. Oh, it's Dustin Myers. What's up, Dustin? Welcome to the live stream. So glad you could tune in for a little bit. Yeah, I guess the fact that that you're not working this week means that you have time to like watch a live stream. So yeah, I'm porting my all right, so we're done with that step. Let me go check that in. Let's see. Added a new favicon. Save that file. Come over here to our terminal. This time I want to make sure that I add the JM logo. Again, that was a 72 by 72 logo, and we'll add the Gatsby config file as well. But that should be fine for the favicon size. We'll probably need to beef it up when we actually go with the actual header. So added new favicon. Again, I don't super duper love the favicon, the new favicon. I think it's a slight improvement over this, but I think part of the problem is like making it work over a dark tab versus a light tab versus a lot of different things is going to be interesting and challenging. I might actually add like a circle around it so that it has a consistent background color, because one of the things that's really challenging for like icon design is making like a transparent icon that works against all background colors. Actually, that makes me think of a couple of, no, at that size, it's just so freaking tiny. There's not a whole lot you can do. All right, so we may add a circle around it. I'll put it down the list here of like experiment with making Favicon circular, consistent background color. I think that'll help a lot. Dustin, I'm so pleased that you chose to spend some of your me time hanging out on a live stream with me. That is so touching, even if you're just here for a few minutes. Okay, cool. So we have a couple of the tasks coming up. I don't want to move the DNS over just yet. I'll do that probably at the end of this session, or maybe even after this session, because that usually involves like me going into websites and typing in passwords and stuff, and that's not the most fun thing for you guys to watch either. So we could migrate Google Analytics to the new site. We could get the new fun logo in place. You know, something I've been very curious about doing that I think would be really fun to do together is actually see how articles might work on the new site. But as eager as I am to do that, we should probably like update the Readme, because that's like the responsible, mature adult thing to do, is like have a really good Readme for your personal website. So let me do that first. And then the reward for fixing up our Readme is going to be, we can go add a new page to the website, a second page, which I'm curious how that's going to work, and move one of these articles over from Medium just to see what the effort is going to be like to move all of them. I only have like 6 or 7 articles, so not a ton, but be able to move them over to our website. All right, so let's give it a go. One thing that's crazy to me about Netlify is just like the continuous deployment type thing. So I should be able to refresh this, and if I'm understanding correctly, yep, there we go. There is the new, whoa. And that, oh, okay. While it was loading, it makes it smaller. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so all the changes that we just made and pushed to master are already there. I'll probably want to start working in a branch pretty soon and doing a pull request flow as opposed to working on the main thing, just so that things don't get pushed out unnecessarily. But we are still in sort of staging mode right now, right? We don't actually have, this is still under a subdomain of Netlify. My old website, jessmart.in, is still running on the old system, so I'm not actually pushing stuff out live to production yet. Yeah, Dustin, I'm not very responsible or mature yet. I was kind of making a joke about that. If you go look at my my website, or my GitHub repo for my old or my current website, jessmart.in, it has only this README, which is not much. And yeah, so I'm going to try and be better and make a reasonable README, mainly because a README is kind of like a gift to your future self. The main reason that my README for my old website has this in it is because it would often be like several years between the time that I would update my website. And the very first thing that I would come to when I opened my website was, how do I run this thing again? I know how to make the changes, but how do I run it? And so I put the one command in here that I needed, which was run rackup to start the server. Here's how you do it. And so we'll probably strip back our the JessMart and Gatsby README to something similar, where it just has the stuff that's like most important for running a website. Okay, so README time. Let's see. Bring this up over here. Close these other tabs out. Readme.md. Interesting. It's got a little bit of HTML action, taking advantage of the fact that you can embed that in GitHub flavored Markdown. Okay, so what we probably want to do is cut this back to just how to run it at first. Let's see. So this, we'll cut all this default server stuff. Let's see. Create a Gatsby site. I don't need that because I already have a Gatsby site. Start developing. Yeah, I'm just going to change that to kind of start the server here. Okay, so let's see. Let me cut all of this. Although I could take advantage of this gorgeous HTML that's already here and just adapt it. The personal website. Oh, Jess Martin. And then, oh, check this out. This is super nerd. We will link to jessmart.in. I'm sorry, .in, and we will link to our new favicon. Favicon. icon.ico. Is that how you get it? Nope. I wonder if I can get to the images. Where is the image for this one? Inspect. Oh, right. JAMStack does madness. Madness. So it's going to have this like crazy URL. I was hoping I could just deep link into my my new logo here. I can't. Oh, but I can pull it from, it's hosted in GitHub. Yeah, there we go. Another way around it. All right, so here's this. So what I'm looking at, in case I'm not being clear talking out loud here, is I'm going to replace this logo with the new JM logo, and I'm going to replace this with Jess Martin's, the personal website of Jess Martin, and then it will have this like fancy heading. Since it's already there, why not adapt what we have and make it pretty? So source images, JM logo. There we go. And then I want raw, I think. Where's the raw? Copy image address. There we go. Yep, so I can use that. And that's going to be fun. So that edge of that J is definitely cut off. I need to fix that, but I can do it right now. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Our last... It has a gray background. No wonder I couldn't tell the difference when I switched to a white background, because it didn't actually save. JM logo. Or did I not upload it? No, it didn't actually save. So let's replace... Oh, it doesn't detect it as different? I was confused. Okay, I'm saying export this frame. I've changed it to white. But this is not white. This is gray. Oh, no. Okay, I know what's going on here. Stupid transparency. Got me. Okay, so cool. Jose said he recorded how to do the thing we were trying to do earlier in Figma. So I'll be curious to see how you do that. All the madness. Not sure I've seen how to do that. All right, so this thing, I thought this was gray. It's not gray. It's actually white. You can actually see it if I like drag it out over something else. That's due to this black background in this tab with transparency on those shapes. So you'll see that they have like 43% transparency right there. That's what's going on. Totally fooling me. It will look white on this background, which won't be that nice actually now that I think about it. So we'll probably want to export this one. But just for kicks and grins here, let's make it happen. And this is probably another reason why we want to actually wrap that thing in a circle. All right, there we go. We now have jessmart.in as that. It says this personal website of Jess Martin, and we'll take this section here and stores his articles. All right, cut that. All right, quick start. So we just mentioned we want to get rid of create a Gatsby site because we don't need that anymore. Start the server. I know how to navigate into my own websites. Directory, open the source code and start editing. It is my site, not your site. The site is now running at 8,000. Note you'll see a second link. This is a tool you can use to start experimenting with your data. Cool. I'm going to cut from there, the learn more section. I can always Google it later. Open the my default starter directory in your code editor of choice and edit source pages index. No, we've already done that, so we're going to cut that now. This is a walkthrough of everything inside a Gatsby project. I really don't need that, so I'm going to cut this whole section. Boom. Learning Gatsby, I don't really need that. I do need to learn how to use Gatsby, but I don't need it in my README. So I'm going to cut that out. deployment. We are deployed to Netlify. Let's see. I am going to change this link to be the actual link of what? JessMartin.netlify.app, I guess for now. And I'm not going to deploy to Vercel. And it's no longer auto-generated content. It is now custom content. Boom. All right. So let's see what that looks like on the GitHubs. So we've made some changes to our README. Git add README. Pare down. It's P-A-R-E, by the way. When you're gonna see you later, Dustin. When you're gonna get rid, when you're gonna remove something, or it's P-A-R-E down the README. All right, so let's do that. Push that up, and then let's take a look on Yield GitHubs and see how she looks. Refresh. Hey, not too bad. Again, we lost our background because of the thing, but not bad. This should say deployed to Netlify. Oh, the button text is there. So yeah, we probably want to kill that button, and because it's a little bit misleading that you think you're gonna put that out there. So I'm going to say production website hosted at Netlify, and we'll link that. All right, let's see here. So that last change. Anything else we want to change? Let's see. So quick start. Here's how to start the server. Open the source code and start editing. The site is now running at localhost 8000. And note, you'll see a second link. Why is that? Did I lose something? I think I did. That's what it was. I lost the closing to that italic. Oops. And that looks good. All right, cool. Make it italic. I gotta go too, but I hope the recording can help a bit. Good luck. All right, thanks. Thanks, Jose. Thanks, you guys. And we'll see y'all later. All right. Okay. So I've made some changes to the README. I think it's about where I want it to be, but we're gonna check it in one more time. A few more changes. And push that up and see how that looks. Refresh. Website hosted at Netlify. Great. Got a quick start. Okay, all that looks good. The one thing I do want to do is get this. Oh, now that I'm thinking in terms of circles, I actually do want to throw a circular frame around this. So let's do that. Let's change. Ooh, I wonder if I could change this. Probably not. Let's just throw another circle here. Oops. Send backward. Actually, let me get the color I want for this thing. Fill on the rectangle is this. And so let's grab it and throw that in there. Cool. And then we'll get rid of the rectangle. Oops. That wasn't what I meant to do. Get rid of the rectangle, make the frame 0 pass through it, normal. Yeah, make the frame 0%, and then send the ellipse to the back. Nice. I like that circle. All right, we'll make it the full size of the frame for now, and export it. Kind of nice and roomy there, right? So export this guy. Let's see. Export frame. This will be JM logo circle. Save that, and then let's have the Readme point to that too. JM logo circle, and git add the image, and add the Readme, and let's see how that looks. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. It's alright. Kind of want it to be bigger, but that'll work for now. Okay, and oh, it's trying to hit HTTPS. I want to hit HTTP. JustSmart.in is not encrypted, although the Netlify site is. That's interesting. Maybe we'll just leave it for now. Yeah. Okay, sweet. Personal website of, I don't think this Readme needs anything else, so we can be done with this step and move on to something more fun, which is getting an articles section up. So I'm very curious about how to set up second pages, but man, I would love to get this thing flipped live today as kind of my end. So the things that I need to get to go live, I need to migrate Google Analytics because I cannot be running without analytics. That's not wise. And then I need to point DNS. It's probably wise to look into the SEO GAS just to make sure that even though I have Google Analytics working or up there, it's actually working as I expect. So go live would be that. And then all this other stuff is like fun stuff we could do. So let's put that off. All right, so migrating Google Analytics, this should be pretty quick as well. I have it here on my old website. Just need to grab the UA tag. UA. Is there a particular way to do this? Gatsby, Google Analytics. I mean, I'm thinking about just dropping it in the layout file. It'd probably be the simplest way to do it. But I want to do it if there's a better way. Official plugin. Alrighty, let's see. This might be the way to do it. Tracking ID. All right, the analytics script tag is not properly loaded. Okay. In my Gatsby config, I'll have to add this, which adds my tracking ID. All this other stuff I'll probably want to do by default. Oh, you can, okay. Cool, yeah. So, seems like a reasonable way to do it. So let's just go ahead and go for it. npm install. Super close here to actually having this ready to go. Tick tock, tick tock. Here goes the clock. Man, sometimes npm installs, my goodness. I'm not sure why it would be running this number of things. That seems a little bit out of hand. All right, what would the next step be that I need to do? In my Gatsby config, I need to grab this. So let's go see what Gatsby config looks like. Plugins. Interesting. Oh, that is the end of our Pomodoro. Okay, cool. So we will be back in 5 minutes for 5 more minutes of Pomodoro action. Working on Gatsby, converting my website over to Gatsby from Ruby. So back in 5. See you then. Alrighty, we are back and starting up our next 25-minute timer. So we were in the middle of getting, let's see, porting over my website from from Sinatra and Ruby to GatsbyJS, and have made a lot of progress now, just moving over the Google Analytics, and we're very close to, after that we're going to dig into understanding how the SEO.js file works so that we can make sure that we are SEO ready when we flip the switch to get this thing started, which we are definitely going to get this party started pretty soon here. Wanted to check my activity monitor real quick because it seems like things are going a little bit slow, and I was right. The dreaded kernel task is back, so I'll have to nuke that, figure out what's going on there after a while. Fortunately, this machine's pretty beefy and does a pretty good job of keeping up, but kernel task is this dreaded task that will eat all of your bandwidth, or all of your CPU, and make things crazy slow. So anyway, sigh. macOS is not what it used to be, people. Not at all. Crazy unstable. Okay, so let's see. Let me go ahead and quit Figma for now, and we will move on to, yeah, where were we? Okay. Are you kidding me? Wow, I think the npm install just completed, like 25 minutes later. What in the world? Git diff package JSON. Let's see what happened. All it did was add Google Analytics. Okay. I'm not gonna question it too much, but that seems pretty strange to me. Let's see what is in our package lock file. What did it actually have to bring in order to do that? Google Analytics, and that seems to be it. Okay, very strange. But when I switched over to this terminal, what I expected to see was a blinking prompt, and what I saw instead was a rush of status information from npm. So that's what kind of threw me for a loop, because literally I've been on a Pomodoro break for 25 minutes, and it's been running that entire time. That also might have been accounting for what was taking so long in terms of, yep, kernel task is done. So that kernel task was actually an npm install. Okay, whatever, y'all, whatever. The ways of JavaScript and JavaScript frameworks are a mind-boggling mess, in my opinion. Okay, cool. So let me jump over here, grab our module exports. We now have a new plugin we're going to be using. I don't need module exports or plugins, but I do need this section. So this is a new section we're going to copy in here. Probably want to go to there because that copies the beginning and the options. I'm not going to keep all these options in here. I can always look them up later if I would like to know what they were. It looks like it's having some problems parsing what I just copy pasted in. Why is that? That's weird. Gatsby plugin React Helmet, and then it opens a... So for some reason it's not reading these options in the same way it is the rest of them. You guys see there's like some differences in the syntax highlighting here, and so I just want to make sure that we're bringing things in appropriately. Sometimes these backticks can cause problems, so I'm looking at that. That doesn't appear to be it. Yeah, weird that it doesn't seem to like these keys.
I can't play Minecraft. My controller's telling me that I can't play Minecraft.
You're gonna have to wait, okay? I'll be inside in a few minutes. Okay, wait for a few minutes, I'll be back. That would be my daughter telling me that her controller will not allow her to play Minecraft. Oh goodness. Alright, so let's see, resolve, options. I'm still not seeing why it's not highlighting this appropriately, but I'm gonna trust that things will be better here in a second. Take out that comment. All right, so what we do want to paste in is my tracking code, which is over here in this UA section. Seriously, just want to edit the thingy, copy, edit text. There we go. Copy and paste here. Great. I think setting this parameter is optional. I don't need to avoid sending things, delay, I don't need that. I don't need Google Optimize. I don't need an experiment, I don't need a variation. I don't need to defer execution after page load. And additional sample fields I don't need. So I can kill all that. True is in the head, false is in the body. Alright. So I'll leave that one in as well as the thing to explain it. Let's go restart our Gatsby server and see if the Gatsby config is appropriately formatted. It is not, as expected. It is not appropriately formatted, but I don't know why. So there's a list of plugins here. Is there like an invisible... Can I comment this out? And then does it work? Cannot find module React. That is not what I expected to see. But again, what happened with the package JSON makes me wonder about oh, here we go. Again, there's only one dang thing that changed in the package JSON. Am I using yarn? Sometimes I forget the difference between like yarn and npm. Maybe that was part of the problem that I hadn't. No, the package JSON had clearly been doing this before. I'm a little bit frustrated right now. Requires stack. Did the package JSON, sorry, node modules. Ugh. The build system in JavaScript, my goodness. Probably just mostly because I'm not super familiar with it, but it can be incredibly frustrating at times. All right, so in just a second here, hopefully we will have this up and running again. Okay, yarn is doing its thing. Build, 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 and hopefully we will be back in good shape here in a second. Come on, come on, come on. Boom. All right, good to go. Change the yarn lock file. All right, let's go run Gatsby develop and see if we are in luck or if things are still having problems. Definitely think, okay. Okay, good. Gatsby config was validated. So I guess after installing, updating the package JSON file, I needed to run yarn again in order for things to be happy. Somebody maybe can point me to an article explaining why I needed to run yarn and or npm install and yarn to add that plugin, but it looks like things are working now. It's building a development bundle right now. Oh, one thing we haven't done is we haven't added this. We haven't added the new plugin into the Gatsby config file. So let's see, localhost 8000 should now be working. It is. All right, so now I've uncommented our new plugin configuration, and let's go through and restart Gatsby one more time, and hopefully things will work. Again, a little bothered by the fact that the syntax highlighting isn't working here. It makes me think that there's probably something wrong in this file, but Gatsby says it's fine. Okay, cool. Caution when deleting your site's cache to ensure there's no stale data. Beautiful. All right, we'll give this a quick check once the development bundle builds, and then hopefully we will have, let's see, localhost 8000. We will have Google Analytics on our site. Looks good. I wonder if they put the snippet in here even on develop. I would hope that they did not. And it looks like they do not do that. Great. So they don't put the Google Analytics. Oh, there it is. No? Okay, that's just common.js. Got it. So it looks like they don't install Google Analytics GA on development, which is great. All right, that's what I would hope for. And then let's see what changes we have. So we now have yarn, package, star, and Gatsby. And then we'll add the to-do as well. And this commit is add Google Analytics, plugin, and configure. All right, push that up. Now that should hit production. Now, if you think about what just happened when we did that commit to master, which if you refresh here, you'll see that it just hit master. This commit actually adds Google Analytics to our Gatsby site, but it's still running. Google Analytics is also still running on our Ruby site in production. And since we're running on Netlify, pushing a new commit to the master branch will also auto deploy to production. So what that means now is we basically had two sites on the internet, both our one that's hosted in Heroku and Ruby that has a UA code in it, and now we have the one that's hosted on Netlify that's also this jessmart.in.netlify.app is also pointing at Google Analytics using the same UA code. So that would normally be a problem, except that I believe Google Analytics is limiting the traffic that it can get to traffic from the jessmart.in domain. And so it should be just fine. Let's see if that's true. It has been a long time, y'all, since I have logged in to Google Analytics. Sure. What? Save. All right, cool. Let's see. Up here, I believe I can get to personal sites, I believe. And then jessmart.in, jessmart.in. I have no idea what kind of traffic I get at this website. I haven't checked out traffic in a long time here. This is last 7 days. Let's look last 90, just see where things are. Yeah, that's about what I would expect. 3 or 4 users a week. Haven't really been pushing people to my personal website for a long time, so you can actually see. Let's see if I can get last calendar year. It's more interesting when you look at this over like 10 years, which is how long I've had this website up. Let's see, go to today, or close to today. No, I want custom going way back. Huh, okay, it's interesting that it doesn't let me just type it in. Oh, does it only go back 5 years? Maybe I only got a GA running 5 years ago. Wow, that's crazy. I would love to be able to see. Anyway, okay. Rather than messing around with graphics, we're gonna. I hope that as we're looking at this, we're not seeing traffic from our Netlify app until we switch the primary domain. So hopefully that's the case. In any case, it's too small. The traffic number is too small to really worry about. So now that we have Google Analytics running, let's go investigate this SEO.js file and find out what that's about. All right. SEO.js. So let's see. I can SEO component that queries for data with Gatsby's use static query hook. All right, let's go to it. So Gatsby 2.1 introduces use static query, a new Gatsby feature that provides the ability to use a React hook to query the GraphQL at build time. Why does this matter? Don't tell me the what, tell me the why. Okay. Why is this called SEO then? So meta description is site. Let's just see if we can get a more general description of Gatsby's SEO approach, and then maybe that'll tell us kind of the why things work, rather than digging straight into the reference for this particular hook that Gatsby uses. So let's see, maybe docs, SEO with Gatsby. That sounds like what I want to see. All right, so Gatsby can help raise your site rank and perform better in search engine. Using Gatsby makes your site fast and efficient for crawlers. Server rendering, because Gatsby pages are server-side rendered, all the page content is available to Googlebot and other search engine crawlers. That's fine. When you install Google Gatsby plugin offline, you'll see a partial HTML document that does not contain the HTML you're looking for. By using plugin offline, we can optimize bandwidth consumption and not let your user download too much data. Saving a partial HTML document is okay. Okay. I did not actually can crawl your site. Speed boost. Gatsby's main built-in, such as rendering, also help your site be lightning fast. Yep. Page metadata. Adding metadata to pages such as page title, meta description, alt text, and structured using JSON LD. Huh. Okay. Jason Lingstorf's personal blog. Already referenced you once, Jason, in this particular live stream. Generate rich snippets in search engines using structured data. Added with React Helmet. I don't know why I would want to do that. Structured data testing tool. Interested in blog posts about SEO. And an advanced tutorial about SEO. So I am interested in social sharing cards. That's not something I'm going to get to today. Let's see. So let's go through and just read the code that we have here right now and make sure that whatever is going on here, that we're using it appropriately. Okay, so there's some imports. Then we have this SEO function, which looks like a GraphQL query. Which is reading, looks like it's reading our site metadata, the title, description, and author. So we're going to make sure that we're going to want to make sure that that is actually up to date. I believe that's in our Gatsby config, but we'll go there in just a second. And it looks like it's going to return that here, so that I don't know what this return helmet thing is doing. Oh, this is when someone's trying to crawl our website. So when you go to, they were mentioning on the previous site here. Oh, here it is. On the previous site here, they were saying if you go to SEO, that will curl. Anyway, whatevs. All right, so this is how you like SEO. This is how a crawler, I think, would interact with your website. Website summary. Twitter. Do we have summary? It's interesting. Looks like we don't have summary in here. I'll also need to try sharing my site to Twitter and see how that works in just a second here. Okay, so let's go over to our Gatsby config and see if everything is set appropriately. Title, Jess Martin, description. All right, we do not have an accurate description. We also don't have an accurate author. What do I have as my current title for this website? Let me see. Title is just Jess Martin. Let's see, what does Kent do? When in doubt, do what Kent does, right? Head, shoot. Yep, for his title, he just uses his name as well. Does he? Yeah, there's his meta name description. All right, let's kill that content, and then I wonder what author does. Meta image title, OG image. His Twitter cards are awesome. Don't know how those work exactly. Not seeing any reference in here to the author tag. I don't know. Jess Martin. Let's see. So what is author here? Oh yeah, Twitter creator. So it is my Twitter handle, which is great. And then description. I think I have something here that I can copy. Let's see. I'll just say personal website of Jess Martin. That's what we will do. We'll roll with that. All right. These background color, theme colors start you like. Why would the background color and theme color? That seems strange to me. Let me look for background underscore color. Huh. I don't know what that is. Why is that in the manifest file? And why is the display minimal UI? Don't know what that is either. Minimal UI. Oh, minimal dash UI. Huh. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what that does in my config file, but we may want to dig into that later. But I think we've accomplished the goal here, which is investigated the SEO.js file. It's going to help people. It's going to help with the creation of the Twitter card. It's also going to help with crawlers as they're interacting with my website. And we've updated the information in the Gatsby config to make sure that it's actually reflective of truth, which is the site metadata section. Okay, so in that case, let's come over and add this, update site metadata for SEO. Okay, that is done. Well, I think we're really close to going live here, which is pretty exciting. Let's see. So let me go look at what would it take to flip this to go live. Awake my soul. Actually, let's see how much time we have before our Pomodoro's over. So we have 2 minutes left. Tell you what, let's do a real quick sprint and see if we can throw a circle around that favicon. I really would like that to look a little bit better. I just don't like the way that anti-aliasing shows up there. So let's do this. Let's take this one. I'm gonna copy frame 2 and drag it over here. And for this one, I'm gonna, because this is gonna be a favicon and need to be a bit smaller, I'm gonna drag this in until we get just the outside edges there. Tap, drag this over. It's looking good there. Drag it in again. Actually, probably do want to like give a little bit of spacing there. All right, now we'll grab frame 4, and it seems like we got to do all of these things together. There we go. Awake my soul and sing. All right, let's shift this over in the frame. Okay, that all looks pretty good. And then let's do an export real quick. Export frame 4, JM logo favicon, save, replace. 15 seconds, 15 seconds. See how it looks. Restart Gatsby. And go, go, go. And then we'll take a 5-minute break, and when we come back, we'll switch over. Give me a second, Pomodoro. All right, development bundle's built. Let me hit refresh. Shift refresh here. Oh, wrong one. Need our localhost one. Localhost 8000. And nice. So that JM logo to my eye looks much better. Although now that I'm looking at it, the JM should be centered, not the shadow. Interesting. That is super interesting because the effect makes it look like J and M is like off to the top left a little bit too far. All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a 5-minute break starting right now. Boom, 5 minutes. And when I get back from the 5-minute break, we are going to take the next step here and probably dive into adding an articles section and moving some of our articles locally. So that is where that's what we'll do next. So enjoy the break. See you in 5 minutes. All right, we are back from break and starting up our next 25-minute thing here. So quickly, we've worked in about 3 Pomodoros here so far today. So I wanted to go through kind of the things that we gotten done and then talk about what next steps are. So removed some links for Hire Me, got a new Favicon up, we updated our Readme, migrated Google Analytics, and made sure that our SEO.js file was actually up to date. Now we have, the only thing we have left to do is actually flip the switch to have DNS point to our hosted site in Netlify rather than our site on Heroku. So we've largely accomplished the goal of migrating my personal site from Ruby and Sinatra over to GatsbyJS. Took about 5 hours. Was a pretty simple process. I'm pretty pleased with the output of how easy and productive it was to get things moved over. But now the real magic in my mind begins of we have a more powerful blog engine that I'm running running Gatsby instead of Sinatra. Not that Sinatra is bad or inherently less powerful, but I have a slightly more flexible like architecture and application framework for my personal site. And the real question is what to do with that. And so that's kind of where I'm starting to think about next steps. So rather than thinking about next steps in terms of like going live or some of this other stuff, and oh look, we even did the experiment with making the Favicon circular, and it looks a lot better. Anyway, what I was saying was what's exciting about having my personal site on Gatsby is not just having it there, but what I can do with it in terms of next steps. So some things that I'd like to do. The main thing that I've been thinking about lately is the idea of a sort of personal management system or a series of links. So for example, a little glimpse into the way that my head works. I spent this morning writing on ideas and software, and as I do occasionally, I have a very long list of several years worth of notes that are backed up in here. The reason this says it only goes back 2 years is I've only been using Bear for about 2 years, but I've been using Simplenote for about 10. And so in my list of notes here, I have a lot of stuff that I'd like to eventually get out to my blog in some form, or my website, and get it out of my own personal head, but into other people's in some form or fashion, and I just haven't had a chance to do that. So that's kind of one of the ideas in terms of next steps here. I think the most obvious thing, though, that needs to be done is understanding what the articles section might look like of the new website. So I've been playing with. So this will force us to deal with pages and how you link between pages and kind of learn that thing. When I was looking at building a personal website, I had an idea of there's basically the sections that I want are an articles section, a talks section, a projects and work built section, and then an about section are kind of the 4 pages that I'd like to have. Actually, before we move to articles, because that's more complicated, how about let's do an about section, and that'll give us the ability to play with pages and kind of get started down that path. And then we probably should move to we'll deploy and move to a project board at some point, but okay. So let's hide that, and you know what? I can use the copy from my Hire Me page in order to do this, which will make it a little bit faster since you guys don't have to sit here and watch me write about myself. So currently there's a page 2 already. This is a TSX file, which means that it's a TypeScript file instead of a JS file, which is a JavaScript file. I don't know TypeScript, and I'm not super familiar with how I would best use it, and so I'm not going to go down the route of trying to understand TypeScript and do that whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just, well, how might I do this real quick? Like, what makes this TypeScript? Anyway. Okay, so let me go ahead and duplicate this file. Come on. There's no duplicate here? You kidding me? Well, that's weird. Alright, well, I know how to duplicate. Source, pages, index. We'll do source, pages, and we'll call this about.js. So copying that over. Now we have an about page that has all of the things on it. I wonder if page 2 has the same imports. It has layout and SEO. We may need the image as well. Okay. About can be our title there. Okay. We're not going to need almost all of this, but I do on my current website have a hire me page that has a little bit more about me. So let's go and take, and we'll call this const about page. Seems like there's a convention here to use page to postfix page on all things that are of type page. So we'll do that. Okay. So now let me pull up my existing website and show you what I'm talking about. So the hire me has this like about Jess section. We also have this different header, which I always thought was fun. The way it compressed down and that kind of stuff was kind of cool. I may want to eventually move to a top bar. So we may actually do that as part of this process as well. Move to a top bar that has an about and yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So let me see. What is the minimum viable product here? Probably keeping the same header section. So right now we should already be able to go to, actually I don't know how routes work in ye old Gatsby. Is there like adding a second page? How would this work? Maybe slash about works natively. Nope. Did I not save this? Oh, did I delete the wrong one? Ha! I made the changes. I do this all the time when I copy paste. That's so funny. I made the changes to the actual original page as opposed to the one I should have made it to. Okay, so now over here, this should be change about page. We'll go, this is going to be Jess Martin dash about. We'll leave that up there at the top. We'll leave that H1, H2 as well. Delete the vast majority of this all the way down to the top of the layout file. Oops. And change this to about page. And now, there we go. Cool. So that does work. Okay, so we can actually copy the content over from our other site, which is code./jessmartin.in. That'll open another editor over here. We can grab the hire me content. Looks like it already has an about Jess. And we'll copy down to I'll adapt this content so that it's not so much about interesting. I wonder how we do the image import, so that's going to be an interesting one. Do I save here? Oh, it didn't auto lay out everything for me. Alright, well, we can do indents ourselves. There we go. How is that different from one on our website? not that different. Okay, so a couple things that jump out to me as I'm looking at this. The font seems pretty small. The line spacing is not great. Don't love the width, how the width interacts with this content is not my favorite. One other thing we need to do, and I'm going to make a note while I'm thinking about it, is ensure the site looks great on mobile. I think the About section is fine. Yeah, everything looks mostly fine. The one thing that is a little unfortunate... Oh, it looks like I just cut the layout at the bottom here. The footer... The way the footer doesn't... I guess it's because the native background is gray when it should be white. I wonder if I can fix that in the styles CSS. Oops. Layout CSS. Okay. Body is white. Then how did this get to be gray? Interesting that the HTML there never really thought about that. Like, what happens when you scroll off the screen? So the body also doesn't have a height 100%. Wonder if that changes things. Huh. No, that doesn't seem to help. Alright, so that doesn't really work either. So yeah, I've got this weird gray band down here, and that is not what I would want. So I don't love this page. I think I'm just going to cut the well, can always leave it up here for now. Right now there's no link to this actual page, the About section. We just have this simple home page right now and no way to get to the About section. So again, we may need to consider making a top bar with like navigation, about, and that kind of stuff up here so that you can go transfer in between the pages here. But all in all, pretty easy to add an additional page, and it kind of defaults to allowing you to do it by the name of the file, which is pretty handy. Should be easy to add additional stuff beyond that. Because I don't love the content right now, I think I'm just going to go ahead and upload it, but not upload a link to it. I know that seems a little bit counterintuitive, but not a big fan of that page yet, and until I like it, I don't want to ship it live, but I am very interested in shipping the rest of the thing. Let me make sure I remove that file appropriately. Yes, I did. Great. GC, add about page, no link yet. Okay, so we've accomplished a lot today. Got a second page up and running as well. And so I think what I'm going to do now is go ahead and stop the live share, and actually go get the DNS pointed to jessmart.in to Netlify and actually go live. So I would walk through that process, but it does involve me typing in a bunch of passwords and a bunch of stuff like that I would have to hide from the screen anyway. And so I'm going to take advantage of the time and go ship this thing, and I'll post on Twitter when I'm done. So thanks for tuning in for another episode of Coding with Jess, where you code along with me while I work on a thing. It's been really fun today getting to play around with GatsbyJS. Very impressive technology. Awesome drop-in replacement for my Ruby and Sinatra setup. And hopefully I'll be building out that Gatsby personal site over the coming days as well. So see you next time.